So I am just thinking back about this year. I just released a podcast episode called 2022 in review and really just thinking back about this year, but how excited I also am for 2023. And the thing is that January to me is such an important month. And I know that we put a lot of expectations on January as a society. We have this whole, like diet and wellness thing going on. We have the New Year's resolutions. We think everything will change in January. And yet at the same time, for me, it really is a special month. It really is a special month because 5 years ago, from last 5 year January in 2018, everything changed for me. Literally everything changed for me. And today I'm living this life that I almost can't even recognize, all because of that January 5 years ago. And for those of you who might not know me as well or my story, I'd love to just share where I was 6 years ago or 7 years ago so that you have a little bit of understanding of why I'm so just mesmerized by this power of January. So 7 years ago, I was stuck. I was so stuck. I was living this duplicitous life where I tried to be so healthy during the week, but I would always overdrink every weekend. And I lived in this cycle where I woke up on Monday morning just feeling like crap, feeling like a shell of myself, feeling really depressed and low, but also feeling really groggy and physically not out of it. And I hated how, no matter what, drinking was just a part of my weekends. Whether I wanted to drink or not, it just seemed like it was just always included with my socializing, with all those things. And plus, I had my own habit as well. I had my own coping mechanism around alcohol. But I lived in this duplicitous lifestyle, right? Where I was like healthy, but then not healthy, healthy and not healthy. And it drove me crazy. At the same time, there was a lot of other lifestyle things going on where, I was working a 9 to 5 job and I honestly worked in a cubicle. My last few years, I was working in an office, but like for most of my time there, I was working in a cubicle and I had no freedom at all with my job. I had to work the 40 hours a week. I had to be there 9 to 5. I had to commute and I really, really felt stifled. I also felt like I wasn't really making a big difference, even though I was trying to and wanting to. It just didn't really feel like anything I did mattered. And I just saw other people having these lifestyles where they got to travel or they got to, really make an impact in the world or have more freedom and autonomy. And I remember just thinking, like, that must be so nice for them, but never in a million years did I think it was possible for me. So here I am, working in my cubicle, literally like I just wanted to press fast forward every single Monday, every single Tuesday so that I could get to the weekend faster so that I could drink. And so like it was the highlight of my week. Literally alcohol was the highlight of my week. And I didn't recognize that I was using alcohol as a way to numb the fact that I wasn't actually fulfilled in my life. So I'm working in my cubicle job. My husband and I travel at that point, but we're not like traveling the way I do today. And I'm just feeling so jealous of other people. I'd always wanted to do something like be a writer, and I always wanted to like be a speaker and like a public figure. And I didn't even consciously know that back then, but it's starting to come out in my journals as I'm reading and looking back. And I was doing nothing to move the needle on those things. Had really low self-esteem. I felt really unconfident. I felt really insecure. I also felt just like not very well spoken. I felt pretty shy and insecure a lot of the times. I'm really introverted. And so just looking back at who I was 6, 7 years ago is just so crazy what a difference. I thought I'd have to have my full-time job until I retire. I thought that I would just live a ho-hum life where, everything is just very mediocre, you know what I mean? And that I would have to give up on some of the bigger dreams that I used to have when I was younger and just kind of settle into this reality. And so, here I am stuck in this relationship with alcohol and also stuck in a lot of my other perceptions on how life has to be and what I get to do and have in this planet. And I really just find myself, like really wanting something different, but not knowing how to get that. And so I literally hear magically of this thing called Dry January. And the number one thing I can always pinpoint into why I am feeling low self-esteem, low insecurity, no self-trust in myself is alcohol, right? It's always alcohol that's causing me to not feel 100% about myself. And so I hear about Dry January and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do that. Even though I thought before that the only type of people who quit drinking are the people who have a huge problem and have to wear scarlet A on their chest, right? And even though I have all these misconceptions about what it means to be alcohol free, I decide, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do that. And I think I decide somewhere in December, if not even November, that I'm going to do dry January. And you don't know how much it lights me up. It lights me up so much to know that in January, alcohol will not be a drama. Alcohol will not be part of the picture, and I can just focus on living a holistic, nurturing life. And so I walk into January. And, at first it's really hard, right? Like I'm used to having my wine with dinner and, socializing with alcohol. But then after the uncomfortableness of it starts to pass, I started to notice something so much deeper. I start to notice really this peace and confidence that starts coming up for me because I'm living alcohol free. I start to literally fall in love with it. And January is not the last time I ever drank. I did drink again that February, but the contrast was so rich for me. Like even 2 drinks ruined my sleep. 2 drinks, would make me feel cranky and frustrated and just not in a good mood, that I really was like, oh my gosh, I was so much happier in January. I want to go back to that. And so February is the last time I drank, and it's been 5 years now that I've been alcohol free, and everything in my life has changed. Literally everything. And not overnight, right? So in the first year, I started to recognize that, hey, I really do want to do something different with my career. But I didn't just go out and quit my career. I started launching a business, and I started with little baby steps, and I started sharing advice online on the internet for free, and I started a social media, and I started just doing all these things. I launched a podcast that year with my friend Danielle. I started speaking a little bit more about the alcohol-free lifestyle, and I slowly started to grow a business that by the time I'm like 1.5 years, 2 years into the business, I'm ready to leave my day job and I go full time into my business. At the same time, I start working on a book project, and I start writing a book on the side and waking up early in the mornings to write this book. And slowly but surely that starts to take off, so that now I'm 5 years into this, 5 years, I can't believe it. And here's my book, right? Here's my book. It's actually on bookshelves, and people reach out to me every day to tell me about their experience reading this book. And I've literally, not only do I have my own full-time income and job from this thing that I love that I built, I was able to retire my husband this year. We spent 3 months in Europe just having an amazing time living there. We travel all the time. We just got back from Puerto Vallarta. I was in Bali earlier this year. Next year, we're definitely going to Costa Rica and Bali again, and Japan probably, and Norway. I mean, it's just so amazing. The things I wanted so badly 6-7 years ago are now in my life. And so I look at January and I just have such a fondness in my heart for it, because that's where all the changes started for me. It was this collective feeling of January to be like, hey, everyone's doing it. Everyone's taking a break from alcohol. I mean, obviously not everyone, but there's obviously a lot of people who do it, And so it's just so special for me to be able to offer that experience back to other people. And so I run a program called Dry Bootcamp, and it is run a few times a year, but especially in January is where we go hard and we go big. And we launched this program to really be able to help people not only take a break from alcohol and get all the accountability and the community and the guidance you need for that, but most importantly, to actually learn how to take care of their emotional needs without drinking and learn why they're using alcohol in the first place, or they used to be, right? So it doesn't have to be like the first time you've never drank before. You could already be alcohol free, and it could still be a really good fit for you because you're learning how to take care of your emotional needs in a new way. And because here's the thing, alcohol is just a beverage in a glass. It is just ethanol in a glass, right? But we as a society have put onto it so much. We've put onto it that it solves all these needs, that it helps us relax, that it helps us be social, that it helps us be confident, that it helps us have fun, that it helps us bond with other people, that it helps us, people have people like you. I mean, there's a zillion things of why we use alcohol, and those are what I call emotional needs. And we've learned that alcohol is the solution for so many of our emotional needs. But first of all, for the most part, it's not true. For the most part, alcohol actually doesn't help us solve our human needs. And secondly, there's so many more effective ways that you can learn to build within here on how to meet your emotional needs. It's called emotional self-regulation, and it's what makes emotionally intelligent people emotionally intelligent, is that they actually listen to their emotions and solve them and hear them and process them in healthy ways instead of distracting or numbing or shoving them under a rug. And when you have more emotional intelligence, you're able to learn from your emotions and actually make shifts in your life to actually do the things you want to do instead of numbing the fact that you're not living your dream life, right? Like, why is everyone drinking, I mean, obviously we were all told to drink, we were all conditioned to drink, we all drink out of a habit, But why is everyone drinking? And I think that the ultimate thing is most people are not fulfilled, and they use alcohol as a way to numb them from the fact that they're not completely fulfilled. We distract, we numb, we push away those feelings instead of actually feeling them and making changes. So being able to emotionally self-regulate and meet your needs in new ways is one of the first crucial steps in actually building a life that you love, right? Instead of ignoring or distracting or numbing yourself from the things that you don't like. A life that is built along your values and your dreams instead of your coping mechanisms and the things that you don't like or don't value that just happen to be in your life. And I think that's such a beautiful step to take, because ultimately in my journey and so many of my clients' journeys, it starts there and it spills over. It spills over into other areas of your life where all of a sudden your career changes. All of a sudden you launch a business and you write the book and you move to a beautiful country you've always wanted to live in, and you meet more friends and you get more connected and you start really up-leveling your life in all these beautiful, incredible ways. Honestly, sometimes it sounds naive of me to say that, like ditch alcohol and then you're going to have your dream life, but it works like that. It really does work like that, right? Because you're building so much emotional intelligence, courage, confidence, self-esteem, self-love, integrity, pride when you go alcohol free. Not to mention the simple fact that you just feel 1,000% better, right? And you're able to actually have the energy and enthusiasm to actually go after what you want. So if you're interested, you don't even know how much I would love to meet you, how much I would love to work with you in Dry Bootcamp. It's a 22-day experience that is a full-on coaching experience. You know, some of my more advanced, intense programs are a lot more money, are a lot more longer, but this is an incredible program to really dip your toe into personal development and dip your toe into living an alcohol-free lifestyle, being fully supported by me and my team. So throughout the experience, we have live coaching calls. We have a Slack that is going on 24/7 to get your questions answered, your challenges answered, your wins celebrated, and really to share gratitude and really build up happiness in your life. We also have a happy hour where we get to know each other and drink mocktails, and a closing celebration call, plus a lot of curriculum on how to meet your needs in new ways. So I talk about the main 3 reasons why people drink: to relax, to have fun, and to socialize. And we start to twist those around to really learn how to meet those needs in new ways without resorting to alcohol. That really will set you up for life. And at the same time, I have a ton of different guides that go in, like a shopping list to get you covered for all the drinks you need for the experience. I've got, a guide on how to socialize confidently. Like, I'm an introvert over here. I grew up really shy. So, drinking was my way that I turned into an extrovert. It's how I got more confident. It was this magical elixir to me. So when I went alcohol free, I had to learn how to get confident in my own skin, right? And so this guide really takes all the lessons I learned as an introvert and shy person to get confident in my own skin no matter where I go, to really feel like I own the room and I'm at peace with myself, right? Without having to reach for a drink for it. We also have my Earth, Air, Water, Fire Rituals guide, which is using really the elements of the earth to learn how to decompress your central nervous system. All of us are working on this hyper overactive sympathetic nervous system, which means we're always on overdrive, we're always busy, we're always overworking, and we just don't know how to turn it off. And a lot of the women I work with, they say that the only way they know how to turn off is with alcohol. And so really learning how to decompress your central nervous system in healthy, holistic ways that actually work and are effective instead of using alcohol is so important to learn how to regulate your nervous system. So I teach a lot of different methods to do that, and we practice them in the program. I also have a guide on how to feel alive, because we don't just drink to relax, we also drink because we want to have fun and we want to get excited about something and we want to have something spicy in our life, right? And that's really, your brain is screaming for you for more stimulation and more fun and more adventure, and we're not giving it to that in our daily lives. So then alcohol becomes the only solution for that. And so really it's about learning how to take care of your need to feel fun and adventure, variety, exploration, exhilaration without using alcohol, which is super important too. And then obviously too, we go over socializing, like I said, on how to feel confident without alcohol socializing, and a lot of the navigating the situations, like what to say or how people are going to respond, and really how to understand to go through that. So that's the program in a nutshell. It's one of my favorite things that we run. I would love to meet you in the program Dry Bootcamp. You can enroll at euphoricaf.com/dry bootcamp. We start January 3rd. And honestly, I just get so nostalgic for January because this was the beginning of everything that I've ever wanted. Like, literally, I look at my life now compared to 5, 6 years ago, and I have the book I've always wanted to write. I have the business I always wanted to run. I don't work for a boss. I work for myself. I can travel whenever I want to. I retired my husband. We get to just travel together. We get to live where we want. We get to travel where we want. I know also, too, that I'm making an impact in the world, which is just so important to me because before I felt like I didn't matter. Like what I had to say or do didn't matter and it wasn't really making a difference to other people. Now I feel like I've really stepped up in an ability to help other people. And I'm just so, so touched. I'm so touched. I'm so touched at being able to look at January as the catalyst for it all. So my advice for you, honestly, is to stop looking at January as this like, I'm going to be a perfect human being and never eat a carb and work out for 80 minutes every single day. Like, sure, people do that in January, but it often you lose sight of it within like 10 days. Like nobody can be that boot campy and strict with themselves for 10 days, for more than that. To really not look at January as just this like, I'm going to be a perfect version of myself, but really look at January as a self-discovery month. To maybe like let go of the things that aren't serving you, put in a little bit more healthy activities, but use it as a time to really reflect and discover within yourself what you really want most out of life. And, taking a break from alcohol will give you the space away from that cacophony to really be able to develop and listen to that intuition and that voice. So use January literally as a time for self-reflection. That's why it was so important for me. Taking a break from alcohol honestly changed my life, and I hope it changes yours too. And if you're someone who's taken breaks before and you're kind of on and off, I think January is such a good time to recommit. There's more people doing Dry January this year than ever in the history before, which I think is just so amazing. There's so much happening in this space. So whether it's your first break or your 10th break, or you just really want to recommit, or maybe you're already alcohol free, but you really want to heal those emotional needs and those emotional reasons why you were drinking, Dry Bootcamp is going to be an amazing experience for you to learn how to emotionally self-regulate and rely on healthy tools to both relax and decompress, but also to come alive and excite yourself, and lastly, how to socialize as well. I hope to meet you there. Like I said, euphoricaf.com/drybootcamp will include the link in my bio and in the comments below. And I also hope you just have a beautiful week and that you have some time to just reflect on what you want out of 2023. I know my brain is there and I'm thinking all about what's going to be important for me in 2023 to do, to see, to be, to have. And I hope you have that space to kind of introspect for yourself about what you really want most too.